From the Berkshires to the Sound, from wherever you live in MLB America, this is Inside the Parker. You give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the scoop on Major League Baseball. Now, here's Baseball Hall of Fame voter number 57.
You have another hot take.
Will not NOT make the playoffs.
Shohei me the money.
Rob Parker.
Come on! I've been covering Major League Baseball for almost 40 years now. In New York, in Cincinnati, in Detroit, in LA. I love this game. Let's go! Welcome into the podcast, and I'm your host, Rob Parker. And what a show we have for you today. Before we even get started, remember, press this button, the subscribe button, so that you're always here, always up to date with all the best coverage of Major League Baseball. As you know, I've been covering baseball since 1986. I love the sport. This is the place for your baseball fix. Inside the Parker, sponsored by Cuffin Season. Lock in the flavor your taste buds will love at cuffinseason.us. Get yours today. And for an extra 10% off, use the code MLB Bro in all caps. Welcome into the podcast. I'm your host, Rob Parker, and what a show we have for you today. Deesha Thosar from Fox Sports. She's an MLB columnist. She'll join us, give us some insight on what's going on baseball-wise in New York. We'll do that, plus a little foul or fair and much more. Let's go.
To lead off, it's Getting Robbed.
And keep them up.
Rob's hot take on the three biggest stories in Major League Baseball. Number one.
Coming into Thursday, I get it. I saw it. The Yankees had back-to-back 10-run losses in the Bronx for the first time in Yankee history. So, of course, the sky is falling, but I'm not buying it. After this three-game set coming up this weekend against the Red Sox, the Yankees will finish the season with 13 straight games against bad teams, teams under 500, the Twins, the Orioles, a couple series, and also the White Sox. The schedule is in the Yankees' favor. I still believe the Yankees are going to win the AL East. The schedule lends to it. Cupcakes to finish out the string of the 2025 season. And I think they get it together just in time for the postseason. I'm not going to look at these two losses on Tuesday and Wednesday to the Tigers and say the season's over. They're right where they want to be in the wild card race, and they're only coming into Thursday 3 games out of the division lead in the AL East. I think they get there.
Number two.
Cal Raleigh coming into Thursday has 53 home runs. That's right, the Seattle catcher doing all kinds of damage from behind the plate with the bat. And the question being tossed around is, if he gets to the magical number 60, should he automatically win the American League Most Valuable Player? And the answer simply is no way, no how. Everything has to be factored in. And I know a lot of people don't want to put stock in a batting average, but 241 coming into Thursday is not MVP-like. I get the 53 home runs and where he might wind up, and does he get to 60? I think you have to look at everything. And it's still hard to bypass and look at Aaron Judge, who missed 2 or 3 weeks of the season with an injury, still batting over 320. The league average is 240. He's very close in home runs and RBI. It's not like Cal Raleigh is running away with everything and it's not even close. It's close. It's close despite missing time. And the almost 100-point batting average better. And Judge still leads in OPS and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think that should be automatic. People are going to vote the way they want, and maybe they're tired of voting for Aaron Judge. I don't think that should be the way it's handled. So this will be interesting. It'll be an interesting call. Will this be a repeat of the Lamar Jackson kind of Josh Allen kind of MVP race? This will be interesting to see. I'm voting right here, right now for Aaron Judge.
Number 3.
Are we seeing the death of the no-hitter? Right now, with about 18 games, 16 games to go in the Major League season. There hasn't been a no-hitter this season. And if that is accomplished, it'll be the first time since 2005 that there wasn't a no-hitter in the big league. That's a long time. We're talking 20 years. But let's not bury the lead. The Dodgers lost 2 no-hitters in the 9th inning. He had a no-no, and they allowed him to try to get it. And I think managers and teams will do that when someone's having a special night. So the no-hitter is not going to be dead. No way, no how.
In case you missed Rob Parker on the MLB Network, here's his latest appearance on MLB Now.
The showdown is not meant to cause offense or harm. The viewer acknowledges any reliance on the accuracy or completeness of said content should be done at their own discretion. The host apologizes in advance for any affront as a result of personal attacks.
Showdown time. Rob Parker is here. Rob, growing up in New York, down on New York teams, worked for decades in Detroit, down on Detroit. You have no loyalty, Rob. Welcome back.
What's up, BK? Nope, I got to call it straight no matter where I've worked and no matter what city I've worked in. They always say I'm a hater. I hate the home team.
Do they? That's shocking. I don't know why. They have a little bit of that tendency. All right, so are the Mets done?
The Mets are absolutely done. They're not making the playoffs. I mean, you guys, I just heard the segment before, and, you're talking around it and hoping, wishing, and all that kind of stuff.
They're
but
up 2.
all the evidence is there.
They're up 2. And they have a very baseball-y team. They're not. By the way, they have Soto, who's great at bat. We'll talk about him. They've got power. Acuna is a terrific fielder and runner. They're kind of baseball-y. They're hitting a bad spot. Everybody has hit a bad spot. But I tell you what, they have the tiebreak on the Giants. Giants even with a good rotation. Abbott was excellent last night. They don't have the tiebreak on the Reds, but the Reds are flawed too. Been waiting all year on the Reds.
Yeah, but the Mets are flawed as well. I mean, here's my issue is that this team, if they're down in the 8th inning, forget it. They're like 0 and a million. They don't win.
That is odd. Is that happenstance, or is that like, I hate to, clutch or not clutch, but that is odd. I'm surprised by that.
They haven't won a game all year about trailing after the 8th inning. I mean, that's scary to me.
Strange.
It really is.
It's the same team, though, that facing elimination. Lindor's hitting home runs a lot. Pete Alonso famously staved off elimination by hitting it off the Devin Williams. I have trouble saying that. Well, they won't come through in big moments. I have trouble with that.
Well, but that was last year, and this team
was
much
guys.
better. But the team was much better last year than this year. I mean, I look at this team. Where's Grimace? Where's oh my God? Where? There's none of that.
It's gone.
There's no juice.
It's gone.
Nothing.
I'd rather have Iglesias than Grimace. So you're right. Iglesias is gone. He's OMG. Why don't you keep that guy around? For some reason they didn't want to keep him around.
BK.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the other thing too. I'm real quick.
Yeah.
You're relying on 3 rookie pitchers to get you through. Good luck.
Yep.
Good luck.
They are.
Because when the wheels fall off and they have the bad outing when you really need that win, you'll say, oh, my God, we had to pitch a rookie.
They're blue chip kids. I'll give you that. But, yeah, no, they're brand spanking new. But they're blue chip kids. And McClain's terrific. How about Juan Soto? Take a look at this. And I'm with you on Soto. Right? He leaves me cold an awful lot. But, like, the facts are facts. He is now second in OPS plus. He's second in WAR. By the way, he is second in win probability added. On the far right, that's WPA. That's how much you're helping your team win. It's mathematical. It's clutch. Ohtani is first, Soto second, Freddie Freeman third. I don't know. Our eyes are telling us one thing, but this guy seems to be an MVP candidate.
They're empty numbers and they're meaningless. And let me tell you this, BK. The Mets were 21 games over 500 in mid-June when he wasn't hitting, when he wasn't making the All-Star team, when they were really rolling. And guess when he started hitting? Now the team is no good and he's putting up all these numbers. He stole a meaningless third base the other night.
That's true.
Down 5 or 6
that is true.
runs.
And that home run last night even. It's an impressive home run, but it's like, you're down 8-1, 9-1. What are we doing? Right? No, and you got to keep playing. But I know what you're saying. There's some meaningless sort of stuff happening with him. True. But the numbers are the numbers.
The numbers don't do it for me. I get it when you put them all together, but they just weren't impactful this year. The Mets won the Juan Soto sweepstakes and got worse from a year ago. That makes no sense.
I could argue that. I'd have to go back and look at a lot of things. I would say this. We do generally, and this is part of the sabermetric revolution, go back 25 years, we generally underrate the value of drawing the base on balls. Right? We want him to have more impact. He's getting on base at a 400 clip again. You know, he's done it every single year. There's real value to that. That's my last. Go ahead. Good. We'll give you a last word on that.
Yeah. Only problem is they're not winning. So you can draw the walks all you want and do all that and get blown out every night by the Phillies. It's still about winning. BK, sports has a short menu. Wins and losses, nothing else matters.
It's hard. They're getting hammered right now. Like, I've watched every game. I was like, Phillies just blowing the doors off them. All right. So now, what I don't get then, if that's what you're thinking, have you been watching the Tigers and Yankees last couple of days? At least I drop in early and then I can leave early because they're getting crushed.
Yeah, it's an aberration. Yes, the Tigers won 2 big games in the Bronx by 10 runs. Hasn't happened in Yankee history. I get all that, and I'm not going to discount it or poo-poo it. But coming into this series, did you see the Tigers? They scuffled. They got swept by the A's. They've lost to some bad teams in the last 3 series.
Yep.
And other than Schoolboy, there's nobody who scares you. Does Riley Green really scare you? Like, oh my God,
well,
how are you going to stop this guy?
The whole team should scare you. By the way, they lost interest. They had a 14-game lead on July 7th, Rob. And I'm not saying they lost interest, but you lose institutional, drive because they're like, we've got this division. So they did. They lost 12 out of 13. Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox, but they are righting the ship, as we say, right now. Parker Meadows is back. Kerry Carpenter is hitting, and they're not even the guys who have carried the load all year. Take a look at their offense. They have, besides the Brewers, they have more guys above league average offensively. This is OPS plus, 100 is league average. They have more above average offense than anyone but the Brewers. So, and they're just getting Carpenter back and Parker Meadows, who could be their best players.
Yeah, but if you just take away the last 2 games with the Yankees before this, in their previous 4 series, they lost 3 of them and won 1. The
division was a wrap. The division was a wrap months ago. So now, they're kicking it back in. Everybody's back.
I can't buy BK. There are a lot of great teams. The Mariners won 116 games. They didn't wave the white flag and stop playing. The Yankees of '99, they kept winning. I can't buy into the idea that got a big.
I'm not saying they're the greatest team of all time. I'm not saying they're the '98 Yankees. I'm not saying they have Ichiro and Edgar Martinez, right? No, I'm not saying that.
Don't you remember that stretch? That stretch when they lost 12 out of 13, that's going to be their postseason stretch. Watch.
Oh, no. By the way, they're a good tournament team. They have an opener going tonight in Holton. They're a tough out in the playoffs. They're a difficult team to play. I know you hate Detroit, or you love Detroit, but you hate the team.
I don't hate the team.
I'm only kidding.
Hey, BK,
yeah.
I got a barbershop on 7 Mile Road. I love Detroit. What are you saying?
So your murals are everywhere, in your high school, in your college. You have a press box. You're in Detroit. You're coast to coast. Rob, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
All right, BK. Thank you.
Rob, thank God for Rob Parker.
When Rob was a newspaper columnist, he lived by this motto: if I'm writing, I'm ripping. Let's bring in a writer or broadcaster, old or new.
Now let's welcome into the podcast Deesha Thosar, who of course is a columnist, baseball columnist for Fox Sports. Deesha, how are you?
I'm great. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Let's talk. I can't believe we're winding down the baseball season, about 16, 18 games, depending on the team, left before it's all over. And you got 2 teams in New York. I want to start there. Mets are really scuffling. I think everybody had it at the Mets as a foregone conclusion of making the postseason. Coming into Thursday, they had a brutal 2 games in Philadelphia. Just, they look dead and they're struggling. Where are you on the Mets? Are they going to make it? Do they have enough pitching? I know they got the kids. Give me the state of the New York Metropolitans.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. I think it has always started with their starting pitching for me. Even going back to spring training, I'm not convinced that the front office did enough to bolster that pitching staff. And we've seen that over the course of this season with injuries. Now those injured guys are back and they're really struggling, looking at Sean Manaea, to the point where the Mets had to call up rookies. And that's great. They've had solid starts. They look promising, but going into the postseason with three starting pitchers who are rookies is just a bit of a stretch. Of course, they can surprise us, but it's kind of not been done in history for a reason. And if they're counting on these rookies, it is just a lot of pressure, a lot of mental pressure, on top of having to perform well and save that pitching staff. So the offense is disappointing too, but for me, it really it goes back to the starting pitching not being strong enough from the beginning since February.
And when you talk about the offense, I know Juan Soto's put together some numbers, but it just doesn't feel the same. I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says. Uh, to me, despite him coming on in the second half, the Mets are actually worse since he started hitting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's definitely strange when you think about the beginning of the season in April. Pete Alonso was on and carrying the offense when Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto. Francisco Lindor had a pretty good first half too. Juan Soto was struggling, so there was this belief that, oh, when all three of them start clicking, this is going to be a dangerous offense. Now we're seeing Juan Soto clicking, and he's unable to carry the offense in the same way that someone like Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor were able to. Why? I think that goes back to clutch hitting. And he is starting to pick it up in the second half. He's had a better batting average with runners in scoring position. But I think that is the missing piece that, of course, we saw last year with Soto and the Yankees. He was always coming through in those clutch moments where his overall stats are going to look great at the end of the season. But if he started to come through in those moments, those high leverage moments, this would be a different looking offense for the Mets.
Speaking, you brought up Pete Alonso. I thought the Mets did him a disservice. I know he wound up coming back, signing a contract. I think he can opt out of it, right? Which he will. He's had a really good year, first really good year in a couple of years, really, for the Mets. They didn't want to pay him. They had all the money for Soto. Do you see Alonso getting interest from other people, maybe even the Yankees or somewhere else?
There's definitely a need for first baseman around the league. I'm curious what his market is going to look like, especially after what he went through last offseason. It was kind of disappointing league wide. I think even he was expecting more, ultimately still wanting to go back to the Mets. But now that he broke that franchise record, he's their home run leader. It's a little different, right? The tone with the Mets is different. He is producing in big moments. They still are in line right now to make the playoffs. He could have another big performance there. I think he's really pushing the Mets to give him that big contract. Whether they will or not, whether they're willing to go beyond 3 years, even since he is already 31, it's a little tough. I think he's not going to get that 6, 7 year deal that he wanted from anyone. So he might have to kind of see his choices and go with what makes sense for him ultimately.
Yeah, I think he gets the short end of the stick. Since he came
Yeah.
into the big leagues, him and Aaron Judge are close in home runs.
Mhm.
He's gotten big hits for the Mets, big home runs. That home run against Devin Williams saved the Mets in that series. I think people shortchange it. It's hard to hit home runs and big home runs. Sometimes you need those. I do want to ask you about one more before we get to the Yankees real quick. Clay Holmes came over from the Yankees. He was a reliever. They made him a starter with the Mets. Got off to a good start. Everybody thought, oh, the Mets hit pay dirt. And now it looks like he's hit a wall and not able to continue or pitch as well, as a starter as he did as a reliever.
Yeah, this again goes back to their plan in February. I mean, I think we all expected Clay Holmes to hit a wall, turning into a starter his first year, pushing past his career high in limits. This was sort of expected to happen. Now, if the Mets always thought, hey, we have some high end AAA pitchers we can call up to make up for that loss, that's the game plan they're now enacting. But Clay Holmes fell off that cliff even sooner, I think, than anyone expected. He had a super strong first half, really, really good numbers leading that rotation. And now it's really not even a Clay Holmes problem. It's everyone is struggling to even get through the fifth inning. We're looking at a rotation that really only makes it 4 plus. It is really going to be tricky. I think David Stearns is going to have to be creative, whether he wants to piggyback starters, do something that way. But I think in the end, this is just, it's unsustainable. And it does go back to Clay Holmes, but it also goes back to guys like Sean Manaea, who were really good for the Mets last year and have struggled this year.
Deesha Thosar is our guest here on Inside the Parker, of course, baseball columnist for Fox Sports. Let's go to the Bronx and the Yankees. And again, you don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. They have a tough stretch they were going through. Got blown out 2 games in a row to the Tigers and coming into Thursday, but they're in the driver's seat as far as the wild card. They have a good lead, with not many games left, but they also have a chance at the division. And the Blue Jays and the Red Sox and the Yankees are 3 games separating the 3 teams coming into Thursday. Who wins the division? Do you still have Toronto, or could one of these other 2 teams jump over?
Yeah, it's tough. I've been going back and forth myself. Of course, when the Yankees look good, they're beating up on basement dwelling teams, and then they look fully capable of winning the division. They did have a good record against the Astros. They actually won that series, but now they're falling into this stretch again, which we've seen too often from them, is falling apart, like really collapsing against good teams. We saw it with the Tigers getting fully outscored. Now they have a tough opponent in the Red Sox at Fenway. Right now, I think it is the Blue Jays. They really have not convinced me otherwise that they won't win the division. They've been in the driver's seat at the top of the division all year. And even just watching them play, they're spunky. I think the other teams can a little underestimate them, and that gives them confidence. And they have a huge weapon in George Springer, who's having a renaissance season over there. So it's not like they're a bunch of no names. There's a big star over there who has that postseason mentality in him, who can really get into a run down the stretch. So for now, I'm going with the Blue Jays. They haven't convinced me otherwise.
Has Anthony Volpe basically played himself out of shortstop? I mean, this year was a disaster. Not just the hitting, but the unreliable fielding on routine grounders and plays that you have to make in the big leagues. I know this guy won a Gold Glove already in his career. This year was really, really weird, and I don't know if the Yankees could feel like they can trust him going forward.
Yeah, it's a really a bizarre situation. I mean, I feel bad for him because the Yankees are putting him in a tough spot. I think he should not be out there every single day, kind of repeating the same results and hoping for something different. Yankees should have sent him down to the minors earlier in the season, similar to what the Mets did with Francisco Alvarez, who was really struggling. He was sent down for a month. He came back on fire. I just don't understand why, especially after the trade deadline. Before that, there were limited choices. It was really only Oswald Peraza who could play short. After the trade deadline, they had Ahmed Rosario, Jose Caballero. Both of these guys can play a decent shortstop that is not going ranked in the bottom of the entire MLB, entire majors. So that's when it should have turned. They still had an opportunity to get Volpe right in late July, early August. They blew past it, and the Yankees still continue to say he's this elite shortstop. They have so much confidence and belief in him. At this point, I think they're just relying on what he did last October for the Yankees and kind of hoping that he can repeat the same performance that we're now a year out past. This is not the same player. I think it is just a little weird, the situation that they're not just giving Caballero at least or Rosario more starts on the daily basis.
All right, last thing. Cody Bellinger, boy, he fits in at Yankee Stadium. He's had a really good year. Do you see him re-signing with the Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, he's like the epitome of a Yankee player to me. He really grinds too, and he doesn't really call too much attention to himself. He just
Is he
goes
like
to
Paul
work, is
O'Neill?
out
Is
there.
he like Paul
That's a
O'Neill
good,
when he
yeah, that's a
showed
good
up?
rep. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that comparison, but that's a really good example. I think he just is happy to be here. He wants to win, and he's kind of, without even knowing it, the glue guy, right, in that offense. Everyone looks at Judge and Stanton to be the big power hitters, but since Glaber went to the Tigers, Glaber Torres, they kind of needed to fill that role of a guy that just gets on base, hits homers, and he's been that guy. I think the Yankees have to go out, re-sign him. Will they do the same with Trent Grisham? I don't know. He might have played himself out of a contract there. I mean, really exceeding expectations, but the Yankees have to look at Bellinger and circle his name as an offseason target here.
Deesha Thosar from Fox Sports, a baseball columnist. Check her out. Hey, Deesha, thank you so much. Love the insight. Appreciate you. All right.
Thank you for having me on, as always.
Always. Take care.
You too.
Now, here's the best from MLBBro.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kelsey Cole Nelson. Be sure to check out What's Poppin' each and every week on MLBBro.com.
And now, from MLBBro.com, here's J.R. Gamble.
Mookie Betts has had a tough season. In fact, he has career lows in almost every category, but he's playing better here in the month of September. JR, is it foul or fair to say that Mookie Betts will be his old self when it comes postseason time?
Fair. He's already turning the corner as the season shifts. He's got 11 hits in his last 23 at-bats. You see the leaves starting to turn a tint of brown outside. The days are still hot, but the night chills forewarn us of the fall season that is upon us. Mookie Betts is about to turn it up even more. Future Hall of Famers like Mookie Betts, whose greatness isn't measured in numbers, but in World Series rings and performances, heat up when the weather gets cool. Let's give Mookie his props. He has the average up to 260 after a slow start, and it looks like he's headed towards his 8th 20-homer season in 12 years. How much he was fighting that Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, definitely laughed off. It's what makes Mookie special. In addition to his prowess with the bat, his ability to play multiple positions, any rumors of Mookie Betts' demise is highly exaggerated. And everyone will see in this postseason, it has Mookie Betts, World Series MVP, written all over it.
Make way for Weekend Wagers.
Yo, it's Sean Bo. Fire up those bed naps. Let's go. All right, we split the difference last week. 1 win, 1 loss brings the season record up to 19 wins, 29 losses. But you know it's a no-go unless we go 2-0 with it, bro. So let's get this week started off right, starting on Friday. Give me the under 8.5 total runs in a big pitching matchup between the Orioles and the Blue Jays. When Trevor Rogers and Chris Bassett are on the bump, we're taking the under. Then on Saturday, let's go for that clean sweep as the Dodgers, -1.5 on the run line, look to put some distance between them and those San Francisco Giants. Rivalry games are always a little iffy, but the Dodgers turn it up in crunch time, and it's a...
Hi, I'm Rob Parker, the founder and editor of MLBBro.com, where we cover black and brown major leaguers. 75% of the content will be about the current black and brown stars in Major League Baseball. The other 25%, we'll take a look back at some of the great black players. On the site, there'll be a ton of great written stories and videos and features.
MLB Bro, because you need to know.
MLB fans, when it comes to Major League Baseball, no one covers it better than the Odd Couple.
Fact. I am the baseball king.
First, second, third, and home.
We're leading shows with baseball. Game over. They don't watch it. They don't know the game.
All in one place.
Let's go!
Right here on Fox Sports Radio.
I love baseball.
In the words of New York TV legend, the late Bill Jorgensen, thanking you for your time this time until next time. Rob Parker, out.
He can't get it. This could be an inside to Parker.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.